Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to compare perfectly competitive firms and monopolistically competitive firms. Okay, over here I have a perfectly competitive firm. Okay, so notice the demand curve for the perfectly competitive firm is perfectly elastic, right? Let's see how many times I could say perfectly in this little video. So, perfectly elastic, okay? Notice the marginal cost curve, right, upward sloping like this. Right, and this is our average total cost curve. In the long run, this is what we expect, right? Here, notice we're making normal profits or zero economic profits. Okay. We said that perfectly competitive firms achieve what? Allocative efficiency and productive efficiency. Productive efficiency is basically I'm producing here this quantity, I'm producing at its lowest average total cost, right? This is the lowest cost. And allocative efficiency basically means the price we're charging, right, is exactly equal to the additional cost of these firms producing this good here. Okay, this is perfectly competitive firms. Now let's take a look here at our monopolistically competitive firm in the long run. Okay, now notice in the long run, again, this firm is making zero economic profits. Okay, this also holds true for monopolistically competitive firms. Why was that? Again, no barriers of entry. If I'm making a profit, other firms jump in, right? Basically eat away all your profits to the point where you're making zero economic profits here. Okay, now let's compare these two. Okay, now if this were a perfectly competitive firm, notice they would produce this amount here, QC. Notice they would produce here at the lowest average total cost. This doesn't happen in monopolistically competitive firms. So basically, they don't achieve productive efficiency, okay? And they also do not achieve allocative efficiency because the price they charge is greater than the marginal cost, which is somewhere down here, okay? Now notice, if this were a perfectly competitive firm, they would produce QC over here, and if this were a perfectly competitive firm, they would charge this price PC. So monopolistically competitive firms basically charge prices that are higher and produce less than a perfectly competitive firms, although both of them make zero economic profits, right? And over here, sometimes we like to call this what we call excess capacity. Okay, excess capacity, because why? If this was perfect competition, we'd be able to produce more. Okay. All right, now, is there any value to monopolistic competition? Well, yes, there's a trade-off here, right? As consumers, we value differentiation, right? We value being different. I'm sure if you look around, you notice that nobody dresses exactly the same. Not everybody wears this one color shirt. We value differentiation, okay? So for that reason, right, there's a trade-off here. Now, what's the trade-off? What's the benefits of monopolistic competition? Is that, hey, we produce stuff that's different, right? It's differentiated somehow, okay? What's the cost here? The cost is that, look, I'm producing less and I'm charging higher prices, okay? So there's a trade-off between differentiation and higher prices when we talk about monopolistically competitive firms.